I want to say I am very proud of you for making it this far into the tutorials. It is evident you want to improve your coding ability and you are determined to succeed. So great job. Kudos to you. Optional chaining. It's similar to optional binding. It provides a mechanism for querying an optional to determine whether it contains a value. One important difference between the two is that optional chaining allows us to chain numerous queries into an optional's value. If each optional in the chain contains a value, then the call to each succeeds and the entire query chain will return an optional of the expected type. If an optional in the query chain is nil, then the entire chain will return nil. If one goes down, they all go down. That's what a true team looks like. Loyalty, heart, gut, grit, gains. So let's play pretend again. Imagine that our app has a very special classroom. I guess we're making an app for a school or something. If we encounter room number 303, we want to customize a room number code instead, as well as a description of the room to the user. If we did, I'm going to start from the top. If we declare a variable for the room description and have it be a string optional, and if we do an if-let for the room number, that's a very nice room. Sick. Blessed. Alright, so we added a new variable named room description, and inside of the if-let success block, we created a new interpolated string and assigned that instance to room description. Lastly, we added some more information about the room down here. That's nice. Next, we use optional chaining to create a new instance of the room description to be in all uppercase text, perhaps for people with terrible eyesight. The question mark appended here to the end of the room description signals that this line of code initiates the optional chaining process. If there isn't value in a room description, then there isn't a string to uppercase, right? You can't uppercase a string without a string. If there isn't a string, this uppercase room description would be set to nil and demonstrates that optional chaining will return an optional. Because room description does have a value in it, we uppercase the description and reassign that new value to uppercase room description. Does that make sense? Let's move on because I'm going to assume it does. We can modify an optional in place, so we don't have to create a new variable or constant. Let's call the append method on this uppercase room description. We could do uppercase. Sounds kind of funny. It smells like updog in here. Uppercase optional.append. You should come visit. That's a nice thing to say. Modifying an optional in place can be a nice trick to keep in your back or front pocket, depending on how frequently you would like to use it. All we wanted to do here was update a string inside of an optional, and we didn't even want anything in return. If there was a value inside of the optional, then we wanted to add some text to the string. If there wasn't a value, forget about it. Don't do anything. I don't even want to modify it. That's essentially it. That's what modifying optionals in place does. The question mark at the end of uppercase room description works similarly to optional chaining. It exposes the value of the optional if it exists. If uppercase room description were nil, then the optional would not have been modified because there wouldn't be a value to update. We could have also used the exclamation mark operator. The exclamation mark would have forcibly unwrapped the optional, and like we said, can be pretty dangerous. That's my middle name. If we used the exclamation mark and there wasn't a value for uppercase room description, we would have gotten a runtime error. And I feel like I mention runtime errors every time I mention the exclamation mark, so keep that in mind. In summary, it's best to use the question mark most of the time, and the exclamation mark should be used when we know that the optional will not be nil, or that the only reasonable action to take if the optional is nil is to freaking crash the program, which would be a very rare circumstance. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.